It's Tuesday. You know what time it is. Front Runner Podcast Collective is back on the air. I am your humble host, Vince. And this is part two. Part two. So there's a part one. Did you get part one? Did you listen to part one? So much good information there. We talked about the Knicks. We talked about the Knicks coaching firing and what it's going to lead to. We also talked about some history. So please go back and check out part one. Now, part two is about the preview of the finals. But how did we get here? How did we get to a Oklahoma City Thunder versus the Indiana Pacers final? How did we get here? I'm going to tell you how we got here. The Western Conference and Eastern Conference finals, we should talk about that. And the funny part about it is, how we should talk about this is how it all works out, because the two teams that were currently, or that have been eliminated from the playoffs, are intertwined with one another. Let's get to it. So the Knicks didn't lose just a coach. I want to take you back a little bit. October 2nd, 2024. Why does that date ring a bell to you? It was the day that Karl Anthony Towns was traded to the Knicks for Julius Randle and Dante DiVincenzo to the Minnesota Timberwolves. And not a soul saw it coming this fast. We thought there might be a shakeup in Minnesota coming. We thought that the Knicks were looking for something, or they were on Giannis' watch, which they were. Don't let anybody tell you they weren't. They were. But now, today, we break down the playoff, the aftermath, the futures, the stake, and what and why that one trade right before training camp didn't just change two rosters. It changed two identities. Let's go forward. This was a win now move disguised as a reset for the Minnesota Timberwolves. The Cap did play an important part in this development and in this trade. Let that be said and let that be known. Cat's contract was massive. But it was more than that. Randall was out of favor in New York City. Dante DiVincenzo, part of that Villanova, New York Knicks, whatever you want to call that thing. We got a commercial out of it. We had Bridges coming to New York City. We're thinking Dante DiVincenzo. We're thinking Brunson. And we're thinking Josh Hart all together. It's going to be great. The Nova Knicks, let's go. It all came to a crashing halt because Karl Anthony Towns became available. And Minnesota finished the regular season on a 17-4 run, jumping in from play-in limbo to the 6th seed. That's not hot streak. That is the engine of Julius Randle and Dante DiVincenzo's moxie coming to life for Minnesota. 17-4 is how they finished it out. They struggled early because they were going to struggle early, because when you bring in Julius Randle and how he plays, there was going to be an adjustment period. But credit to Chris Finch and his staff figuring all that shit out, getting us ready, and getting our guy Anthony Edwards to a legitimate playoff run. We were very excited about that. Now, Cat steps into the Knicks locker room next to Brunson, and just like that, Madison Square Garden had a new twin engine, size and scoring. On paper, this looked really impressive. On the floor, well, there were times on the floor where it looked great. There were times on the floor where it didn't look so great. And we're going to get to all of it. The Wolves beat LeBron and Luka in the first round. They knocked out a limping Warrior squad in round 2, and then OKC smacked them back to earth in 5 games. It's not a knock. The Thunder was a 68-win machine. Okay? 68 wins. This is a historic team. So, Minnesota losing to OKC is not like this huge, referendum on their season. What it is like, hey, there's ways for you to go. How can we get better? How can we figure it out? Well, we're going to see. Soraya has this stat. Randall in rounds 1 and 2, 23.9 points per game, 5.9 rebounds, and 5.9 assists. He carried a major offensive responsibility next to Ant. And Ant, that boy arrived, and finally he put together clutch time possessions like a seasoned vet. Now spin this to the East. The Knicks, they pulled a miracle versus Boston. But in game 1 versus Indiana, that's the ghost in the room. No team had ever lost a playoff game when leading by 14 with 2 minutes and 51 seconds left to go. Until the Knicks did it. And this is from our guy James Edwards III. Piece after game 6. You know what I'm saying? This is what happens. Get all the fallout. Our guy James Edwards brings this to us. We love James Edwards. He's our guy. Check out his pieces on The Athletic. He brings us great content. He used to be in Detroit, and now he's with the Knicks. It's so cool to see him doing well there. Now, you couldn't argue game 1 broke the rhythm. They scrapped back. Game 5 was a masterpiece, but game 6, they were out of gas. 17 turnovers. Fast break points just murdered them. And their identity was revealed. Now, we're going to jump back to Minnesota. Minnesota's season was full of jagged chemistry, course corrections, Gobert frustrations, no doubt. Mid-season team meetings, they were 8-10 at Thanksgiving. But they had depth. They grew cohesion. And after a win in the playoffs, this is what Rudy Gobert had to say. Julius, you got a lot of disrespect your whole career. And so do I. Winning lets us write our own narratives. Oh my God. Gobert is like Brady Bunch dad material right here. I don't know what he's doing. Now the Knicks, they were more polished until the pressure kicked in. Their issue wasn't talent. It was rhythm. The cohesion lagged. They won big one night and then disappeared the next. Tibbs, who just got fired, they got into an open floor, and that was a problem. In game 6, the Knicks were outscored 34-23 in the third quarter, and that was game. That was it. This is where things tighten. Minnesota is in the second apron. They are $90 million plus in taxes paid. They are likely can't keep all 3 of Randall, Naz Reid, or Nickeil Alexander-Walker. Now, saying Minnesota is the only place I've really ever had an opportunity. I'm not Xing that. That would be crazy. But you know what? Here's the thing. Money is going to have to talk because Minnesota can only give him so much. That money, they can't go over because of what their salary cap restrictions are. So now where do you go? Where do you go? Enter Tim Connelly, their player personnel guy. He's technically a free agent, but the Laurie A-Rod contingency have to retain him if they want to sustain this. He's the architect of what they got going on. I am believing that he is going to sign a contract. He is going to stay with the Minnesota Timberwolves. But I would be remiss in saying that, hey, we just had a regime change in Denver. You know what I'm saying? We don't know who the front office is going to be. Or hey, that situation in Phoenix seems a little rocky with Mr. Bartlestein. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, bro, I'm not going to get into all the particulars, but there was some stuff said. Now, people have said, hey, that's not true, whatever, but there's a storm building in Phoenix. So Tim Connelly has chances. He has opportunities out there waiting for him. You know what I'm saying? If Tim Connelly is on the market, does Dallas blow out Nico Harrison? Could be. Who knows? But right now, Tim Connelly is with the Minnesota Timberwolves, and Lori and A-Rod would like to keep that situation that way, from all reports that I've heard. Now, New York, on the other hand, they've got to decide what Cat Brunson duo needs to hit another gear. Probably another perimeter defender, or you put Josh Hart on the bench and you see if you got another wing or two through the youngins or through a trade, and see what you can do there. Brunson postgame. We can't just jump back to the conference finals. It's one day at a time. But I've got a lot of faith in this particular group. Interesting. We will see how that plays itself out in the summertime. This wasn't just a trade. This was two teams shedding skin. The Wolves shed a star to spread responsibility. The Knicks finally got serious about being big again, about matching East Coast muscle. New York had their best season in 25 years. Minnesota went back-to-back to conference finals for the first time ever. And here's the beauty of the whole thing. The trade still has room to evolve. Randall could leave. Cat could get even better. DiVincenzo is that glue guy that everybody wants. So, just saying, there's room for this trade to even evolve more. You know, a la Paul George, and how he's been the architect for the Indiana Pacers and the Oklahoma City Thunder, which is crazy. Seeing that lineage and how that went back and forth. The Timberwolves and the Knicks didn't just, they swapped trajectories a little bit. They traded for control for unknowns. They both walked the long road back to relevance, just on opposite maps. And as the finals tip, without either team in it, both cities are asking the same questions. Can we get back? And the next time, can we finish? That is always the important question. That's the question that we always have to ask. Is, can we get back? And can we finish? Narratives are malleable, but when it comes to the part, that's earned. So now, this is your turn. Minnesota fans, Knicks fans, you know what's going down, right? We need to find out from you. You want to talk about who won the trade? Fine. Definitely hit us up. Let us know. If you want to talk about, what's the main questions that we got to have answered going into next season, we want to hear that from you as well. So, hit us up on Twitter, at Rhea_Funch, FRPC, or at FrontRunner PC. That gets you me. So drop your take, drop your agenda, and we'll see you in the replies. And if your replies are good, if you hit us on DM, or if you hit us on, if you just hit us in the comments, it'll get read on Friday's pod. So get after it. Now what everybody's come here for, the preview of the preview. No coasts, no excuses. This is the Heartland's finals. We are in the heartland of America for the finals. We ain't moving. It's all in the central time zone. Okay? Oklahoma City, Indianapolis. It's going to be great. Let's start here. No Steph, no LeBron, no Tatum, no Giannis. And somehow, this is the most interesting finals we have had in years. Yes, I understand for all the coastal elitists out there, including myself. Oh, where's the Lakers? Where are all the star power? Where's all this? Where's all... Dude, don't worry. We're going to have a lot of stuff to talk about. It's not because who's missing. It's because who finally made it. Oklahoma City. And the promise that was SGA. And Sam Presti's architectural build of this team. Just the maniacalness of what he had to do to get here. And then there's Indiana, who never settles. Who is always looking to upgrade. They never sat there and fully tanked. They made shrewd trades. Domantas Sabonis for Tyrese Halliburton is a absolute steal. Sorry, Sacramento fans. Sorry to the Kings fans who every time they hear that, they must just feel like a little stab in the heart. But it's true. Now, here's a note. 2 of the youngest NBA cores are meeting in the finals. Only one player in either rotation is over 30. And that is Alex Caruso. Teams who have been built through the draft, not max trades. That's what we're seeing here in these finals. This isn't the finals the league pushed. This is the finals that basketball has earned. OKC plays like a stealth bomber. No wasted movement. Every rotation sharp. They don't switch. They just erase people. And for Indiana, they're the exact opposite. They are a free-flowing, fast-thinking offense. They move like water down a broken chalkboard. They just get it all over the place. Tyrese Halliburton throws passes you can't even find in 2K. Okay? Now, Soraya has this stat, which is amazing. I love this one. This is great. Halliburton, 12.9 assists per 100 possessions. That is a 36.9 assist percentage. It's the highest among remaining starters left. It leads the NBA in secondary assists. We call them hockey assists with a purpose. There's going to be a lot of ball movement from Indiana. But what is this series all about? It's about movement and group against the most talented player this league has to offer. So it is team in Indiana, and it's the wagon that is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander in OKC. He is silent devastation incarnate versus Halliburton's musical muscle memory of just electric passes, ball movement, coming off ghost screens, and everything like that. It is going to be absolutely amazing, just the styles that we're going to be seeing here. And here's the kicker. Neither one of these teams got here by luck. Everybody will sit there and be like, Vince, that's not true. The Pacers had this happened. These people got hurt. I don't want to hear it. Playoffs are attrition. That's what they are. And because somebody got hurt or whatever case may be, yeah, happens. Sorry. What we saw with the Pacers and just the level of commitment of running and the level of commitment of pace, that is one of those things that you have to be like expecting. And if you don't expect it, you get embarrassed. The Pacers will bury you. They will embarrass you because you didn't get back on defense. They've been stacking bricks in silence since the Russ PG era exit. In Indiana, they traded for an all-star and got better. Let's talk about Shai for a second. You give that man a switch, and he'll lull you to sleep. It's not the speed, it's the cadence. He's reading help defenders like a sheet of music. Then boom, 12-foot pull up, net, doesn't even move. So you want to talk about crazy numbers? You want to talk about ridiculously dominant numbers? Soraya has them for us. I just want you to hear this. 39 points per 100 possessions. 73% field goal percentage at the rim. 47% at mid-range. That is per cleaning the glass. And we are talking about one Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Oh, and just for giggles, he has the highest unassisted 2-point field goal percentage in the playoffs with a minimum of 10 field goal attempts. He's going to have way more than 10 field goal attempts in the mid-range because he is the mid-range assassin. He's the best at it right now. On the other side, you got Tyrese Halliburton. You got a Wisconsin kid who plays point guard like he's DJing in real time. He's reading the vibe and adjusting the tempo to keep everyone involved. The Andrew Nembhards of the world, the Aaron Neesmiths of the world, the Ben Matherins of the world, the Pascal Siakams of the world. Also our guy Miles Turner, who was on the trading block, it seemed, for almost a decade. And now he is just a staple in a Pacers uniform. But when it comes to OKC switches everything, the group dies. Ask him to put up 13 points the last time they met. Yep. March 29th. OKC beat Indiana by 21 points. Halliburton was 5 of 14. 3 turnovers. OK switched 1 through 4 and picked every action. That's what makes this so fun. You got Jalen Williams, who somehow both the second unit's floor general and the quietest assassin on the court. And then you have Miles Turner, the shot blocker, who's also Indiana's spacing linchpin. So many narratives. Jalen Williams is in the 93 percentile of mid-range shooting, by the way. So not only do you have Shai, when he goes out, Jalen Williams can just basically play the Shai role. So you don't lose anything. They use ghost screens to expose Indiana's drop coverage. Turner equals, he is number 1 in screen assists per 36 for Indiana. Deep drop versus mid-range killers, big gamble. Big gamble right there. We'll see how the philosophy changes when we get into the series. And we're going to get real petty right here. The finals are finally somewhere where it snows. Where the airport closes in February. And where the fans show up in hoodies and not linen. Yes. Yes. I can sit here and talk about my espresso from Starbucks and how it's 75 degrees and sunny outside. And I can talk about all the amenities that Los Angeles has to offer. But we are in Middle America now. Middle America is having a moment. Middle America is having a glow up that we've been wanting for the Middle America. We've been wanting this for the farmers. We've been wanting this for the people who do all the corn, all the wheat, all the bacon, all the hogs, all the beef. This is what this finals is all about. Only finals in the last 15 years with no coastal market team. This is middle America's moment to shine. And still, some TV folks were calling this a low profile, or just low attention span. If the Knicks and Lakers, with the same stats, the same net rating, the same defensive metrics, what would the coverage sound like? I'm gonna try to give this a little clarity. You will hear things like this. This could be one of the most balanced finals in a decade. The rotations, the spacing, the playoff maturity, the extraordinary. And then you have people saying, this ain't about culture, this is about structure. And guess what? We've got all those things. It's just not in the specific places that Stephen A. Smith wants to travel to. Right? This is not the place that he wants to be at. He wants to be in Miami. He wants to be in New York City. He wants to be in Los Angeles. He'll take Phoenix, Arizona. But he don't want to be in the middle of the country. But yet and still, here we are. This finals is not meh. It's not a market problem. It's a basketball masterpiece waiting for its credit. Because we got all the talents and we got all the tentacles of greatness that lie before us. SGA walking defenders into 14-foot daggers, check. Halliburton spraying passes like graffiti on the hardwood, check. Jalen Williams ghosting through drop coverage, check. This is a hoop junkie's dream. This finals, this matchup. What are we watching for? If OKC slows Indy's rhythm, we get paint controlled by committee. If Indy turns stops into sprints, they stretch OKC's shell thin. Could be interesting. If foul trouble hits Neesmith or Nembhard, it's a wrap. If Miles Turner gets dragged too far into space, the Thunder will feast. But no matter who wins, we all win. You know why? Because it's system. It's creative front office. It's player development. It's meticulous film study of the guys coming in from college and how it will manifest itself on the team that I'm trying to build. It's well-placed trades. It's knowing when to hold on to somebody and knowing when to let go of somebody. Miles Turner is still an Indiana Pacer. Domantas Sabonis is not an Indiana Pacer. So Middle America, stand up. This is your finals. Let's go. Let's get surgical with this. There's a chasm. We're going to start talking about it. There's a chasm between the OKC Thunder and Indiana Pacers. If we're just talking about stats and stats alone, advanced metrics and things of that nature, there's an absolute chasm. And if we're just talking about literal stats, Indiana doesn't even deserve to be on the same floor with the OKC Thunder. But we don't just talk about stats here at Frontrunner Podcast Collective. We will give you the stats and we will talk about these things because some of this stuff matters. But we're also going to talk about what these teams are doing right now. We're not pretending that the Thunder are number one in defensive rating and Indiana's 13th. But the finals aren't won because of the obvious. They won because of the margins. And in this series, the margins, that we have a lot of them. So let's break it down. The net rating gap is incredible. It is OKC's 12.8, which is absolutely historic, to Indiana's plus 2.2. So they have a 10.6 gap between net ratings between these two teams. This looks like an absolute blowout of a series, right? The Thunder led playoff teams in steals percentage and paint deterrence. But Indiana was number one in transition scoring and assist percentages and find daylight when others panic. Oh, Tyrese Halliburton will be bold. He will be bold. And let's talk about the screens. If you don't know what a go screen is, it's when a screener fakes a pick and slips it into space. Think deception without destruction. Hartenstein runs this like a con artist. He sets shadow screens, peels off into the dunker spot or into the corner, and wrecks Indiana early rotation reads. That could be a thing. Now, if you look at the March film, Indiana was tagged late on 5 of 7 go screen actions. Halliburton and Siakam missed weak side help rotations in all 5 of them. Hartenstein's usage rate spikes in the first 6 minutes of the second quarter and also in the fourth quarter, designed to hit Indiana's bench window. And now we're going to talk about mid-range murder. And that's where we talk about OKC. Because Jalen Williams is not flashy, but the fundamentals are there. He lives in that 14 to 17 foot window. You switch a guard onto him, he backs him down like it's 1999. If you go to drop coverage, it's 2 dribbles, rise, and splash. We already told you that Jalen is 93rd percentile in mid-range shooting. Against drop coverage, here's an incredible stat. Against drop coverage, 58.6% on pull-up twos in the playoff half-court sets for our guy. Aaron Nesmith fouled Jalen twice, trying to recover late from deep drop coverages. Go watch the third quarter in the March 29th film. And now here's the kicker. Indiana knows it's coming. They've scouted it. They've prepped for it. But OKC executes cleaner than anyone we've seen. And this is why winning in the margins matters. So what is Indiana's best shot? Because I gave you a whole bunch of stuff that says that Indiana should be just basically setting their vacation situations up right now, right? But this team has played with heart all year. Some of the execution has been great, but they turned it around in the second half and became one of the most undeniable teams that we've seen. In the broken floor moments, not in the half court, when Halliburton gets a live ball steal or quick outlet from Turner, that is where Indy is surgical. They don't even need a screen. They just need 2 seconds of disorganization, and Halliburton turns it into a layup or a corner 3. You want some good stats from Indiana? No problem. 8.9 transition points per game, first in the league. Average time shot in transition, 5.1 seconds. And the film shows us this. On makes, Indy takes 10 plus seconds to generate anything meaningful, but off misses or live turnovers, it is pure magic. So how does OKC stop this? It's simple. Put the ball in the hoop. Stay disciplined. Stay in your defensive shell. And have rotational IQ awareness at all times. Because Indianapolis is looking to embarrass you. Looking to embarrass you at all times. OKC has the best shell defense in all the land. Dort, Caruso, and Wallace is like watching triplets move in sync. The weak side help is already there before the ball swings. That's not talent, it's reps. Caruso is top 5 in defensive raptor, by the way. That's the dude coming off the bench, Alex Caruso. OKC leads the playoffs in help side contests per game in NBA tracking data. And here's a quote from Anthony Edwards. So here's a guy who is one of the best ISO guys on the planet. Here's a guy who's one of the best scorers in our league. He says, if you think you beat your man, there's another one already there that you have to go ahead and now defeat that challenge. So we're going to get nerdy for about 90 seconds. Okay, this is weak side tag. When Indiana runs drag or flare actions from the tag, the weak side determines whether the roll man is getting a dunk or a turnover. OKC has the best weak side tagging timing in the league. They tag from the low man and still recover to the corner shooter. That's also in the film. So go take a look. If you got time, go look at that March 29th game. It's not for the stars or who's playing, who's not playing. It's just, we're talking about philosophies and counters and how we're going to get through this 7-game series, and be able to have our hand raised in victory. You know what I'm talking about? That's what I'm saying. So who breaks first? Can Turner stay on the floor without getting pulled out of drop coverage? Can Nembhard defend without fouling when isolated on SGA or Jalen? Can Indiana survive the minutes when Halliburton sits and TJ McConnell is trying to orchestrate the pace? He does an incredible job off the bench. These are the pressure points, not big swings, small tears. The finals are lost in leakages. All right, TJ McConnell on-off net rating, negative 11.2 in the playoffs. Indiana's 3-point percentage drops by 7.4% when Neesmith is off the floor. These aren't bench minutes. These are time bomb minutes. Imagine a possession where SGA has the ball at the top of the key and Nembhard gets screened by Isaiah Joe. Miles Turner is in the drop position, hoping Shai doesn't pull up. Joe flares to the wing, open. SGA stops, spins, and hits a 14-footer off glass. You know what possession is. What's a funeral with a slow drum beat? This is what OKC does to people. They don't kill you fast. They just keep pressing until you can't breathe anymore. And yet, Indiana has varying tools. And when I say varying tools, is that they start hot from 3. If Halliburton can get 2 early runouts, if Miles Turner hits 2 short rolls and a 3-pointer, this is a team that can stay in it because they have the offensive flow that can kind of disrupt what OKC does on defense. But we will see. That's the challenge right there. But even then, you're still in trouble because it's just deflections and they're just trying to knock off your timing all the time. Here's the truth. You don't get many chances like this. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is the 2025 NBA MVP. And he is 4 wins away from putting his name next to Jokic and Steph. Not just as stars, but as summit guys. Here's something from Soraya. Only 3 players in the last 15 years have won the MVP and the finals in the same season. Steph Curry in 2015. LeBron, Ramon, James in 2012 and 2013. And our guy, Nikola Jokic in 2023. Shai would be the first guard since Steph to do it. The first non-coastal MVP winner since Tim Duncan. Damn, it's been a long time. And let's be clear, this isn't just SGA having a great season. This is surgical dominance. You give him the elbow, he gives you 27. You trap him, he finds Jalen. You sag, 17-footer, good night. This finals, it's his canvas. And if he caps off with a title, you're not just talking about the best guard in the league. You're talking about legacy, rewrite in real time. But let's zoom out. This is about more than one man. This is about the way the Oklahoma City Thunder were built. It's a team. The way they do interviews, the way they move on the court, the way they don't have no one chasing max contracts, where development, patience, and role clarity made them better than most super teams. You look at what Sam Presti has built. This is a system win waiting to happen. OKC is the youngest team to reach the finals since Magic's Lakers in 1980. So I'm going to say that again. OKC is the youngest team to reach the finals since the Magic Johnson-led Lakers in 1980. That is 45 years ago. I was just a young pup at that time. I wasn't even 8 years old. I don't turn 8 until August 25th of 1980. But Magic Johnson was leading the Lakers to an NBA Finals. 10-man rotation, 8 drafted or developed in-house. The only team top 3 in both offensive and defensive rating this season, your Oklahoma City Thunder. And the Pacers are sitting there. Where are our flowers? Don't worry, I got them for you. They're resistant to, because they've been counted out in every series. Pat McAfee of the Pat McAfee Show is right. They've been in the first series. I don't know if they can win. Are they tough enough to win? Then they play arguably another team that had a feel-good season. And yeah, it happens. Boom. They play Cleveland. Boom. It's done. They wipe them. Then they play the Knicks, and people are like, well, we'll find out. We'll find out. Can they hold up against the Knicks? They do. They're not overmatched. They're overlooked. This isn't the resistance. This is in their narrative. Halliburton is 3rd in total assists. Indiana is number 1 in assists per 100 possessions, but just 12th in net rating. Their defense leaks in the corners, literally and figuratively. And let's just be straight. SGA has come here to these finals on a mission. He doesn't get there without defense. Dort, Caruso, and Wallace are going to be absolutely essential to what they're doing. Jalen Williams looks like a breakout X factor. And he doesn't get here without Presti, who built the roster and no All-Stars 3 years ago. And now they have 2 All-NBA guys. And maybe, and just maybe, a dynasty. You want some stats to back that up? This is where the scary times come from. We just told you earlier in the pod that Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is out here scoring like 39 points per 100 possessions. Michael Jordan-esque. I'll say that again. Michael Jordan-esque. Oh, not to be outdone, Jalen Williams is doing his best Scottie Pippen impersonation by scoring 27.2 points per 100 possessions. That's not just productive. That's elite production. Elite. Caruso leads OKC in deflections, and it's not even close. Also, drawn charges. That's also our guy Caruso. Do we miss him as a Laker? Yes, we do. Pour a little out for HG Fresh. You know what I'm saying? OKC's playoff turnovers, 10.1 per game, lowest in the field. What does winning mean? Okay, so what we're going to do, it proves that you don't need super teams if you're OKC. It proves that defense first still wins. It puts small markets teams back on the board. For SGA, This is a vault leap. This puts him over Luka and Tatum and over Booker. It means that the face of the league question continues to evolve. And if they lose, well, they're young. And there's plenty of times to get back. But you don't want to blow an opportunity. Not like this. Not like this. Because the finals aren't about the winner. They're about how the story closes. You look, Tim Duncan didn't need cameras to be a dynasty. Dirk didn't need a podcast. And Jokic, shit, he just wants to go and play with his horses in Serbia. And now SGA stands in that lineage, quiet, calculated, but lethal. And if he finishes this run, you're looking at the calmest killer since Kawhi Leonard. SGA is top 5 in clutch scoring, lowest turnover rate among high usage players. OKC has outscored opponents by 11.3 points per 100 possessions in the fourth quarter during the playoffs. So they're going against the best teams and they're blowing them out. You're having double-digit point differentials in a quarter, in the most important quarter, the fourth quarter. They're lapping the field. So, we finally get here. You want a prediction? I don't have a prediction for you. Here's a spoiler. My models say OKC closes this out in 6. I say OKC closes this out in 5. If Indiana does stretch this, if they do stretch this out, it's a referendum on how leagues thinks about building a winner. But either way, this is going to be a really enjoyable finals. My whole thing is this, is that I don't think that Indiana has seen a defense like OKC at all. I think SGA as the MVP is a system, the patience, and the culture. And they can go ahead and finish off a historic season. Or will Halliburton rally the boys from Indiana and rise up and take out the most dominant team we've seen since the Golden State Warriors of 2016-2017 and do it with strength in numbers? Will it be the comeuppance of the Indiana Pacers where they will finally ring that bell of a championship? Or will OKC finally go ahead and start building their own legacy and start living off the Seattle Supersonics? Either way, we just watched the future arrive and it brought its clipboard. So, you want to know why we think OKC is going to win? It's the same damn reason we've been telling you for the whole year. OKC has a 12.8 net rating, which is the highest since 2017 Golden State Warriors. This wasn't luck. This was a method. And now, if they win, it becomes legacy. So that's the finals preview. I know Indiana is probably upset because here's another pundit telling you that you don't have a shot. That's not true. I think that if you can continue to move the ball and you can get Halliburton into late game situations, because here's the one thing that OKC has not seen a lot of. They've not seen a lot of tight games. Can you keep it close? And can you withstand runs and not get down by 15, 16 points? Can you keep it within 8? Can you keep it within 6? Because if you keep it within 8 and 6, now you put doubt into OKC's mind. And Rick Carlisle, who is a absolutely phenomenal coach, and he needs to get his flowers, and we're going to give it to him right now. He's seen a lot. He's been through a lot. And he's just the right coach to kind of keep his team even killed enough to keep these damn games close. And if these games are close, we're going to find out what OKC is made of. Because again, I'll reiterate, they haven't been in a bunch of close games this year because they've been blowing the doors off people. Do I expect basically more of the same? Yes, I do. I think when you're a wagon like OKC and you got that fan base and you got that damn arena, that Paycom Center, where it will be absolutely electric tomorrow. Mark my words. OKC will rise and it will be phenomenal. And we will sit there and we will go, wow, look at the frenzy. Look at the hysteria that is going on in Oklahoma City right now. This is a freaking vibe. And we will all be witness to it. And in the end, after the series is over, I do believe that OKC will win. But don't let these games be close. Do not let them be close, OKC. Continue to be who you are. The wagon, the dominance, just be this undeniable wave of energy and limbs and deflections and steals. And SGA will just be out there looking like Mikhail Baryshnikov on a damn stage. He'll look like Gregory Hines out there tap dancing and just looking flawless and doing his thing. So OKC in 5, that's our prediction here at Frontrunner Podcast Collective. And with that being said, this is part 2 ending. You know what I'm saying? We out of here. You know what I'm saying? We got all this done. Got it done in one day, 2 parts. It's all gravy for you, the people. That's who we do this for. And I want to send a special shout out to the audience. You know why? Because our little project had a little uptick. You know what I'm saying? So I want to shout out Venezuela. I want to shout out Peru. I want to shout out places like Grenada. Are you kidding me? For sure. Egypt. Yeah. Saudi Arabia. Riyadh. Yeah. Absolutely. Norway. For sure. Finland is in the building. Oh. And our, I don't know if you want to call it what grandparents, whatever. The English. London. I see you. Scotland. I see you too, bruv. I see you too, bruv. Y'all getting it. Be a friend, tell a friend about the podcast. It might change their life because we do it 2 times a week, Tuesday and Friday, for your listening pleasure. And also, you know how it go. There is a second screen experience that is better than anything on this planet. So you go to frpc.podcastpage.io. You go up to the right hand corner. There'll be like 3 little lines. You will click on that. There'll be a cascading menu that falls down. And you will go, well, what am I looking for, Vince? I'll tell you exactly what you're looking for. You're looking for the blog section. Why are you looking for that? Because every time there's a pod, there's a blog that goes along with it. So with that being said, we get up out of here. I want to thank Soraya. I want to thank the rest of the FRPC crew for holding it down, getting us stats, getting us quotes, and just living up to the standard that we've created here, because we want to make sure that you're entertained and also informed. So with that being said, the best part of you is you. Make sure that you have people that surround you, that support you, that want you to do better and be better. They do this out of love. They do this with intentionality. They do this with like words of wisdom and words of encouragement. And if you have people in your life that are doing that for you in kind, turn around and acknowledge them. Appreciate what they're doing for you. Also call it out. Text them, hug them, FaceTime them. Do what you need to do to make sure they know how important they are to you and your success. And if you're doing all that, you know what that means? You are a well-rounded freaking individual and probably a rock star. And we will always have a seat for you here at Frontrunner Podcast Collective. So, we are out of here. Y'all be easy. Enjoy the finals. We will be back on Friday, and we will talk about Game 1. All right? We will talk all in our faces about Game 1. So, y'all be easy. I'll see y'all on Friday. Deuces.